Welcome to episode 39 of the Gospel Culture Podcast and the first episode of 2021. We've all been hunkered down more than usual during the pandemic, and there's a good chance, if you're like me, that you've watched lots of movies over the last year. And on this episode, I'm going to talk about a way that we can glorify God and make connections to the gospel, both personally and with our family and friends. So, the gospel on movie night coming up right after this. As my wife and I talk about our plans each week, an important question that must be answered is, when are we having family movie night? Because most weeks we pick an evening to gather as a family, to watch a movie and pick up some fast food to enjoy while we watch. And actually, as I record this, I'm looking forward to movie night this evening, and I'm happy to report that we will be having pizza. My kids are young, so naturally we watch, among other things, a lot of Disney movies, although I must say that there are a number of Pixar films that I think are legitimately great movies. Toy Story 3 gets me every single time with its meditation on growing up and leaving behind the joys and simplicity of childhood. And I have never experienced more pushback than when I tweeted out that I think WALL-E is a top 3 Pixar movie. One thing that I try to pay attention for when we are watching a movie as a family, and actually whenever I watch a movie, is connections that can be made between the story and theme of the movie and the best story, the good news of Jesus Christ. And if you put up your radar and attune your senses as you enjoy a good movie, you can often find connections to the best story, to the gospel. And furthermore, you can utilize these things in conversation about the movie to help others see the gospel illustrated, a kind of parable of the gospel that's present at times in movies. I mean, here's the deal. The best and most enduring stories throughout history reflect something of the big story of redemption, the hero's quest that is marked by courage and self-sacrifice. Here's an example. If you're a parent of small kids, and there is, or you have been a parent of small kids in the last decade, there's a chance that the bane of your existence is the movie Frozen. Maybe you've seen it approximately 758 million times, and Let It Go is that earworm song that pops into your head and stays there, driving you mad throughout the day. I actually love Frozen and the sequel as well, but in the first Frozen movie, there is a beautiful illustration that I've pointed out to my children to help them understand something of what the gospel is all about. And for the uninitiated, there are spoiler alerts here. The movie is 11 years old. If you haven't seen it, well, tough. The story, if you recall, or if you don't know, are about two sisters. The story is about two sisters, Anna and Elsa. At a young age, Elsa discovers that she has a special power to create and freeze ice and snow. Elsa's parents hide her away from the world, but as she reaches adulthood, her power erupts as she plunges the land of Arendelle into a permanent winter. Elsa accidentally hits her sister in the heart with a beam of ice, and Anna, along with help along the way from a hilarious snowman, an ice harvester and his reindeer, and a gang of mystical trolls, she discovers that the only way her life can be saved from what the ice is doing to her heart is an act of true love. This is a Disney princess movie, so of course that must mean true love's kiss. But no, in a twist we discover that what is actually required is an act of sacrificial love. In the climax of the movie, Elsa is being charged by an evil prince who raises a sword above his head to deal a fatal blow, but Anna jumps in front of her sister so that she receives the blow instead of her sister, and she freezes into ice as the blade crashes down upon her. Anna saves her sister's life by laying her own life down. And wonderfully, having saved her sister, and as her grieving family and friends stand by, Anna melts into her old healthy self. She rises out of death, having saved her sister through self-sacrifice. Does any of that sound familiar to you? Sacrificial love takes the blow of death to save another. Well, to me, that looks and sounds a lot like the sacrificial love of Jesus Christ. And we could go on and on. Batman sacrificing himself as a scapegoat at the end of The Dark Knight, or Spock's self-sacrifice to save his friend Captain Kirk in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Okay, maybe I'm outing myself as a nerd on that one. And this is just one aspect of the story of redemption that we can find reflected in movies. There are all manner of good things reflected in good movies that we can observe and then glorify God for and direct our kids' and our friends' attention to Him on movie night, whether it be courage in the face of evil, neighbor love, even resurrection. These kinds of observations can help a movie to move from simply entertaining to something edifying, and can be a helpful tool to help others understand something about the gospel as well. So a suggestion: next time you have family movie night, or just taking a movie by yourself or with friends, put up your radar. Attune your senses to the shadows and echoes of the best story, the best news. It's a simple way to glorify God through our entertainment and help ourselves and our children and those we love to grow deeper in the understanding of and wonder in the gospel. Well, thanks for listening to this episode. Hope you were encouraged by it. Special thanks to my brother Gabriel Kreps, who composed the music on the podcast. If you want to check out his work, you can find him. He's a composer for documentaries and advertisements and things like that on lomaland.co. Okay, that's all for now. We'll see you here soon on this podcast. Bye for now.